I have been on a bit of an emotional roller coaster this past 24 hours, and it started with me finding out about the murder of this beautiful, kind, exemplary boy, 19 years old, murdered, stabbed to death. I was just so sad. Just so struck and overwhelmed by the tragedy of it, by the pain, the suffering. And then just got lost in that sea of hopelessness of how mental the world is and how crazy people are and how much evil is out there. And then this morning we went to a family bar mitzvah in Jerusalem, by the wall, and it was just gorgeous, and I was just so grateful and happy and privileged to be surrounded by family and just all the good stuff that life has to offer. And I'm standing at the bottom of where the Beit HaMikdash used to stand. And I'm obviously conscious that we're at this time in the calendar. We've been in the 3 weeks, and Tisha B'Av is coming. It's actually tonight, tomorrow, but because it's a day of mourning, Shabbat supersedes it. So Shabbat, the day to rest, the day to press pause on the crazy action in our lives and just be, just really appreciate and enjoy being. So we do that on Shabbat. And then after Shabbat, we commemorate Tisha B'Av, which is just this horrible day in Jewish history where a whole load of things, bad things have happened. It's really weird actually, but principally we're mourning the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash. And I'm stood there at this bar mitzvah this morning, and what am I? I'm just struck. I'm struck. I'm struck by the joy of the moment. I'm struck by the contrast. And then I'm struck by this idea of the temple, which, let's not use the English word, let's use the Hebrew, Beit HaMikdash. Beit, which I think is like bayit, house, home. Mikdash, I think it's from Kedusha. If I'm wrong, can somebody please let me know? So this house of holiness, and when it's talked about in the Torah, it's this house of love and prayer for all the nations, which I understand it to have been this place where, I mean, the geographical location, there's a rabbi who has a lot to say about it in one of the Geula Summit interviews, and it's really wild, and I would really recommend listening, but essentially that this is like a portal, this location. And it's a place where divine energy, where this palpable, tangible, penetrating vibrational force field was available. And people from all over the world would come and experience this divinity. Why was the temple destroyed? We're told that it was sinat chinam, which is baseless hatred. And thinking about these places of darkness and suffering and pain, and when I'm in that place of suffering and pain, I'm in it. I'm so lost in the emotion of it, the stress of it, the pain of it, that it's hard for me to make space for the divine within it. But the truth of the matter, as far as I believe in and am experiencing in my life, we're told that Ein od milvado. Nothing exists apart from Hashem. It's just oneness. Everything. Now, we might see it as this confused mess where it's like impossible to distinguish good from bad and light and darkness. It's all fused together. But the reality is that everything is infused with this light, with this oneness, with divinity. So for me, personally speaking, as I'm approaching Tisha B'Av, I'm really trying to make space for this truth that I believe that God's in everything, Hashem's in everything, and that even in those deepest, darkest places, Hashem can be there if I create the space for him, her, it. And if I can create the space, it then makes that painful suffering part of a process. And as we're being taught also, the goal is the journey. The journey is the goal. That's it. To just be where we are. Be. Like on Shabbat, how we just are. So what is my point here? My point is that I believe we need to hold these two truths at the same time. At least this is what I was learning with one of my teachers. And that when I can hold those two truths, that God's in the good, God's in the bad, then ultimately I really have this understanding and balance in the middle where I know that everything is for the good. Easier said than done. I know it. I'm not there. But this is where my head's at, and I really just wanted to share with before Shabbat comes in, like 5 minutes. So, yeah, Shabbat Shalom.